from Terror Alarm on Twitter, yes, because this is the kind of tag you want to have. Without justifiable reason to use force and without her resisting. The arrest. Transphobic police officer shot dead. The hashtag transgender suspect of killing multiple children and teachers at a Christian school in Nashville. Hashtag Audrey Hale. Yeah, I'd like to make a quick vocal note to the mental anorexic that tweets this kind of horse shit. The cop didn't shoot them because of some transgender bigotry. They were killed because they had already shot several people, including children, who did not pose a tangible threat to them in any way whatsoever. This person, literally, with no qualms whatsoever, with no bit of scruples, walked into a building, shot several people, including a few children, to death. And you think the police officer is going to take a chance on a potentially homicidal maniac by trying to get close to subdue them when the person could actually turn around and shoot them in the face? This person came there knowing they were going to die. They came in there committing this massacre, knowing exactly what they were intending to do was wrong, knowing exactly what they were going to do would most likely result in lethal force, responding to the way that they were behaving. What exactly is the purpose of calling this cop transphobic? How many times have other people been shot that were not transgender? Whether it be shot fatally or shot non-fatally, depending upon their ability to comply within the time limit the cops gave them upon responding. Seems like the one time the cops do their fucking job and get in there to try to stop what's going on, that's when everyone has their jimmies in a fucking rustle. All because the person identifies as a different sex than the one that they were born as. And the worst part is, hardcore right-wing extremists, like actual right-wing extremists that are actually fucking nuts, not moderates, not centrists, are going to try to use that as a case against trans people. And then the people that are on the hard left are going to use it as a case against guns. Instead of just confronting the fact that the person in question was mentally unwell, who had not been given proper mental evaluations or proper treatment in terms of how they were dealing with their stresses in life, and they decided that instead of dealing with it like an adult and confronting people with therapy and counseling, they decided to go into a school and shoot several people. But no, the cop's not transphobic, to return to my point. The cop is not a transphobe. The cop responded the way that anyone normally would if they themselves were tasked with defending the public from a crazy person with a gun, and they had realized said crazy person probably had maybe 1 second to a half second to turn around and shoot them too. Realistically, it was a choice that was better off done that way than taking the chance, because realistically, if this person had tried to make the offender surrender, what would have happened is they would have had several dead more people. It would have been dead police officers trying to convince this person to surrender. They came there with no intention of surrendering upon committing that massacre. They came in there knowing they were going to die because they planned to die that way. So please, shut the fuck up. I swear, it's always like the fucking tumblerinas or these fucking crazy walking pronouns that always come up with stupid fucking excuses for the shit I'm about to read. Kai Hart, she, they. If you need to put your gender pronouns in your bio, you need to just uninstall Twitter in general. You should not have to do that. You should be able to handle one or the other and either just correct someone and move on, or just don't even bother. Okay, let's at Little Mermilf. You're about as much of a MILF as I am an underwater welder, and I don't recall going to that particular class in school. Hating Aiden Hale, trans, but excusing Kyle Rittenhouse, cis, is like if you were to hate Jeffrey Dahmer, gay, and excuse Ted Bundy, straight. It doesn't make sense, as they're all equally disgusting humans, not more so if they're LGBT, as it has nothing to do with having killer tendencies. No, those two situations are not the same, you wriggling pile of maggot shit. Because Rittenhouse killed people who were in the fucking throes of trying to kill him. All the people that Rittenhouse shot were either people who would have deserved it anyway because of what they've done to other people in their lives prior, which no one knew about until further investigation, or people that were in the process of trying to bash his head in with a skateboard or shoot him in the face with a gun that they legally were not allowed to have either. The difference between someone walking into a building and murdering people who had no idea you were coming, who had no means of defending themselves, is not the same fucking thing as shooting people who are actively trying to get you pinned to the ground to potentially shoot you or beat you to death. Those are not the same. Because one of these people took the lives of children and teachers alike. They were indiscriminate with who they shot. Whereas Rittenhouse only shot people that were in the process of either trying to shoot him or beat him to death. Turns out one of the people Rittenhouse shot was a sex offender that was arrested for raping young boys whose mothers that he dated. Another person that he had shot was another fucking piece of shit who was arrested multiple times for either attempting to strangle or strangling some of his girlfriends almost to death. And the last motherfucker, Mr. Grutskois, was actually in the process of trying to shoot Kyle in the fucking head when he raised the gun to defend himself. When someone is on the ground trying to pick themselves back up because they are trying to escape from a fight they did not want in the first place, and then they shoot someone who's in the process of trying to draw a gun on them, that is not the same thing as someone walking into a school and just shooting a bunch of people and then getting shot in the back of the head when the cop realizes that you've obviously decided to take it's a suicide mission for this person. Someone going on what they presume to be a suicide mission and shooting a bunch of kids for no reason is not the same thing as someone shooting an individual who's in the process of trying to bash their fucking skull in. How does it feel being this fucking stupid? I want to know. How do these people feel having to excuse an act of violence that happened to people who would not have deserved it for any fucking reason? Oh, because, well, they were twins. That makes it okay. That justifies it because there are some assholes in society that most people don't agree with who say bad things about them. So that means it's justified to walk up and shoot a bunch of children. If you genuinely believe that, you need to get your fucking head put in the fucking microwave. It's one thing to simply say, don't be a dick to these people, they face enough as it is. And it's another thing to simply defend someone for having murdered a bunch of fucking kids. There is genuinely no justification. There is no excuse. There is no reason this should ever be defended or condoned. There is no reason at all this person would have deserved anything less than being shot in the fucking head after murdering a bunch of kids. This person, again, knew they were going on a suicide mission. This was something that they were willingly deciding to do. They were not going to surrender. They were determined to be killed by police. They were determined. They didn't care. This person is not a martyr for trans rights. They are not someone that's standing up for trans rights. They were just a fucking lunatic who ran up and murdered kids. It's one thing to protest against what people say about you. It's another thing to just openly murder people who had no idea that you were going to do it and had no real way to defend themselves. And for the people that are going to bitch about their pronouns, I don't give a fuck what they identify as. I don't give a fuck if it's a woman identifying a man or a man identifying as a woman. At the end of the day, this person is still a horrible piece of shit. They murdered innocent people. If they were minding their own business, living their own lives, no one would give a fuck. Maybe a couple assholes would give them some bullshit here and there. Maybe they'd be hassled by the occasional bigot. But realistically, as bad as that would be, at least if they could just be hassled a little bit and still live their life, other people wouldn't have fucking died. Whatever happened to just being able to tolerate hearing shit you don't like? Why is it that now every time you hear something you don't like as an adult, murdering people is just now the most justifiable way to handle it? Society is going down the shitter, and it's because people like this are being more or less heralded as heroes on social media. They are not a hero. They did nothing but shitty things to other people during their last hours of life. They may have been a completely good, kind, loving person up to that point, but the fact that they've decided to kill kids and shit kind of scrubs the rest of that off. I mean, I cannot feel sympathetic or empathetic towards anyone who decides that all their personal problems were more important than the lives of other people who were just going about their day-to-day routines. They killed fucking kids. When I first heard about this shit, I was physically sick because of the stupid fucking bullshit justifications people were giving them. This is not justified. There is legitimately no reason why anyone should ever be allowed to do this. I don't understand why it is people make up excuses now. Since when did Tumblr become the best way to handle your problems? All I'm gonna say is, fuck these cunts, fuck the shooter that did that bullshit, And fuck anyone who would try to say this person being transgender is automatically a reason to defend them. And the person that shot them didn't do it out of bigotry. They shot them because they were afraid they were going to get their head blown off next. Fuck these people.